Hello, good afternoon. This is the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We are on Love 99.5 FM. We're also on myjoyonline.com. We're live in all 16 regions on Sun City Radio in Keta, Volta, Premier and Ho, A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga. We're on Radio Max in Takrady and Gangai FM in Jirapa. We're also live on X Spaces and we're on Facebook. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water always flows. This afternoon, anti-corruption campaigners descend on Attorney General for describing as baseless OSP suspicion of money laundering by Cecilia Dapai and his advice to Yoko on the investigation of the former sanitation minister.
It is very unfortunate. Let me not mince words at all. The impression this is creating is the fact that we can always get away with anything.
It defeats the fight against corruption. And that's what I've even said, that nobody's fighting corruption in this country.
We have details, plus speak to a legal practitioner who says Yoko boss Mami Tiwa must resign over how her outfit has handled the investigation.
We are calling on Mami Tiwa to resign. Listen, we had warned her. Listen, I remember that Saturday, I was sitting on News 5 where we made this point that she should be sure that she's present. Are we saying that Yoko they don't read news?
Also this afternoon, Institute for Energy Security and some Ghanaians debunk President Akufo-Addo's verdict on Dumso, say he must have been misinformed on the true state of the energy situation.
The IES cannot agree with the president that on Tuesday there was no load shedding reported anywhere in the country. That cannot be the case.
But we only woke up today, early in the morning, Mankesim is off.
Meanwhile, the ECG is blaming power outages in parts of Accra and flooding of some of its substations. We are live on the ground. Vice President Bawumia to commission 120 housing units at Apiate amidst residents' concerns over basic amenities and unresolved compensation more than 2 years after the explosion that killed 13 persons.
During the explosion, a lot of people died, and yet the families have not been compensated. A lot of people were pierced as a result of the metal that spritted off. A lot of people are going through a headache. No compensation.
We're live on the ground. We also have sports.
Dreams FC are hoping to return to the CAF Confederation Cup next season as they come up against soccer intellectuals later today.
And we'll get to hear from the Dean of the University of Ghana Law School concerned about monetization of elections in Ghana following recent allegations in the Adjiso by-election.
So vote buying is real. It happens. Any Ghanaian who says that he or she doesn't know that it happens is lying. Crass vote buying is a small aspect of a broader architecture of moneyed elections that we need to dismantle.
Meanwhile, the Kwadaso MP at the center of the electoral bribery scandal has apologized but says his action has been misconstrued.
And you think that I will influence them in that public space. I have not bribed anybody. I have not influenced anybody to vote or to do anything untoward.
We have that and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. I am Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details shortly. Many thanks for your company. Let's dig in now. And anti-corruption campaigners are this afternoon criticizing the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, for his latest advice to the Economic and Organised Crime Office, Yoko, on the investigation of Cecilia Dapai for money laundering. The AG's office described the request of the special prosecutor to Yoko to probe the former sanitation minister for money laundering as unnecessary and baseless. But anti-graft campaigners are descending heavily on the AG over this advice this afternoon. We have more from them shortly. But first, my colleague Elton Broby, an editor here at Joy News, joins me in studio with more on what more we are learning. So let's talk about the basis of the AG's advice to Yoko that probing Madame Cecilia Dapai for money laundering has no basis.
Emefa, they say that we observed that the OSP did not place a copy of his report on investigations conducted by that outfit on the docket submitted to your office. The OSP letter to you also did not disclose the basis for the suspicion of the commission of the offense of money laundering and structuring. It is thus difficult to ascertain the basis for the OSP's suspicion of the commission of the offense of money laundering and structuring by the suspect. A study of all the documents on the docket submitted by the OSP does not disclose how the offense of money laundering and structuring might have been committed as alleged by the OSP. And they provide section 12345 of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020, which creates offense relating to money laundering. At the onset, it is important to indicate that the offense of structuring is not known to Ghana laws. At the heart of the offense of money laundering is gains obtained from criminal proceeds arising from an unlawful activity, which is defined in section 63 as 1044 to refer to offense specifically spelled out therein. The status of property being proceeds of crime is therefore crucial to money laundering. This is even so under section 55.2 of Act 1044, where an accused may be presumed to have unlawfully acquired property in a possession which cannot be accounted for. In any event, it is material to note that Section 55.2 is triggered only in the course of a trial of an accused person for a specified offense under the Act. In the absence of the identification of any criminality associated with the properties retrieved from the suspect, the OSP referral to Yoko for investigations to be conducted into money laundering is without basis.
Thank you very much, Elton, with details of that AG's advice. Well, Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Mary Ada, says the advice of the Attorney General on the matter is unfortunate and creates an impression that persons in the political class can always get away with corruption.
Even though it's very disappointing, we didn't expect anything different. My only point of regret is the fact that Yoko, we know, works under the AG's office, and so they would want advice from them. But I was expecting as well that they would carry on to such a time that when they needed advice to proceed to prosecution, then they would do this. But then it is what it is. It is very unfortunate. Let me not mince words at all. The impression this is creating is the fact that we can always get away with anything, particularly when it comes to issues around allegations of corruption, because we would use the weaknesses in the regime or the legal regime to get away with them. So it's sad, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, we were believing that Yoko could have taken this up from another angle when you look at their law. When you look at sections 1-3 of the current anti-money laundering law, you'll see that you could have done a lifestyle audit to also establish. But then there are other issues we can be speaking to as we go forward.
That's the Ghana Integrity Initiative's Executive Director, Mary Ada. One lawyer that's been following this particular case closely is Martin Pebu. Thankfully, he joins us on the line with more on this. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So taking a look at the Attorney General's reasons for asking the Yoko not to go ahead with the issue about money laundering. I'm sure that I'm told we don't have Martin Pebu yet on the line, but we've been interacting with him earlier. This is what he had to say.
It's clear that Mami Tiwa Dankwa, the executive secretary of Yoko, has been sleeping on the job. The first thing is, did you see the part of the letter saying that the money has been returned to the Adapa? That's the most important thing we should deal with right now. How was that money returned to the Adapa without Yoko being on site to take it at the same time? Why do I say so? Mr. Kisi Ejabe had been clear that he was going to return the money and hand over the file to Yoko. That docket, hand it over to Yoko. So how come that at the time the close to $600,000 and over 2.7 million Ghana was being handed over physically, cash was being handed over, Yoko wasn't present site to collect the money? The rest of the things in the letter we can deal with, and I'm sure we'll come to that. But this is the point we should be making. Listen, Mami Tiwa Dankwa should be on her way out of that office. She should be out. Let's not play. This thing is too elementary. It's too elementary for us to tolerate this. Kisi Ejabe came out publicly that I'm handing over this file, I'm handing over the cash. And so, at all costs, Yoko should have been present to collect that money. There can be no excuses and there can be no buts. And that's why I'm thinking that, we are calling on Mami Tiwa to resign. This thing we had warned her. Listen, I remember that Saturday, I was sitting on News 5, where we made this point that she should be sure that she's present. Are we saying that Yoko they don't read news? They have no intelligence unit.
That's Martin Pebu there. We can hear from anti-corruption crusader Vitas Azim, who says the position of the Attorney General defeats the fight against corruption, but he also faults a special prosecutor for failing to share everything with Yoko, which the Attorney General used as a basis to describe any probe as baseless and unnecessary.
It defeats the fight against corruption. And that's what I've even said, that nobody's fighting corruption in this country. We just speak about it. We're not fighting corruption. The matter did not need to go to the Attorney General at this stage. Yoko could have just even put aside the referral of the Office of Special Prosecutor and investigated this matter on its own.
Has the Special Prosecutor's Office, has it also lived to expectation in this matter? Should we lay some of the blame at the doorstep of the Special Prosecutor's Office?
Yes, I think so, because if you were passing the case on to Yoko, you needed to give, and you wanted Yoko to work on what you had already, to build on what you had already done, then you needed to give to Yoko all the information that you have. If you fail to do that, then of course there was suspicion that either you did a poor job or you did not want Yoko to use the information, the evidence that you found.
Anti-corruption crusader Vitas Azim there. Away from corruption, the Institute of Energy Security, IES, insists that the erratic power supply experience in some part of the country, which we call doomsor, is still prevalent, debunking the president's assertion that the challenges plaguing the energy sector are resolved. President Akufo-Addo at yesterday's Midday celebration said issues of maintenance and gas supply have now been fixed, insisting there was stable power supply with no load shedding anywhere in the country. The president even went a step further to promise that the situation will remain so for years to come.
I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all Ghanaians for their patience and understanding during recent temporary challenges with the electricity supply across the country. The issues surrounding maintenance of transformers and gas supply have been successfully resolved, resulting in a sufficient improvement in power supply reliability. Indeed, over the past few days, we have witnessed stable electricity supply across the country with no load shedding reported anywhere yesterday. For the past 7 years, we have worked tirelessly to keep the lights on, and I am confident that the unfortunate era of doomsor will not return.
Now you can hear from the Executive Secretary of the Institute for Energy Security, Nana Moisi, telling Joy News data available to him indicates doomsor is very much ongoing in the country and that the president may have been misinformed.
The IES cannot agree with the president that on Tuesday there was no load shedding reported anywhere in the country. That cannot be the case because we still have deficit in generation. A generation of around 3,500 during peak time that show that it is inadequate to meet our peak demand, getting close to 3,700 megawatts. That deficit or gap must be shed off so as to protect the grid. And so our own checks indicate that there were load shedding across the country. And in Central region and in the Greater Accra region, we can name some other parts. In Accra, we can mention Comte 25, the Vichle Michelle Camp area, Comte 17, Nungwa. We can mention Weja. We can mention Pantan, Airport Residential. That is on Tuesday, some of the outages that were recorded only in Accra. We can admit that there's been an improvement in power supply, but we still have the deficit. We believe the president's statement is premature, and if he had waited for probably 3-4 days, we'll have seen a better or enhanced performance. But
well, complaints have come in from the central region. We can hear from some residents of Mankasim on the
For
situation.
some time now, the power hasn't been stable. Yesterday, through President's presentation at the Midday celebration, he made it aware that doomsor is over under his presidency. But we only woke up today, early in the morning, Mankasim is off.
What the government is doing about the electricity, we don't know, because I own a shop that comprises of fashion designing, barbering salon, and beauty parlor at the same time. So when the light goes off, it affects all the businesses in my shop.
Hanso ye herbal clinic ho adwuma and I say 21 ewa ha.
This is a herbal clinic, and the outages are really affecting business. Just this morning, because of the lights out, we couldn't do a scan for one client. I need a job done for me, but because of the lights out, I have missed my deadline. The person is a welder, and for the past 3 days, there's no light.
Just about Tuesday, the lights went out at around 6 a.m. in the morning. Came back close to 7 p.m. So yesterday, for instance, I was chatting a friend. All of a sudden, I realized the person wasn't online. Until this morning, I saw the person online. And I was like, oh, what happened? I said, oh, my light went out, so it just came.
Some residents in Mankasim in the central region, well, if you're in the Greater Accra region and experiencing any power outages, the ECG says it's not doing so, but it's as a result of the flooding of some of their substations due to a rainstorm experienced yesterday, May 1. Well, my colleague James Aveji is on the ground checking on that situation. He joins us on the line with more on what we are learning so far. James, what can you report?
Emefa, so I'm currently at Aveno, Central Mosque area. The transformer I have seen around, it is unclear to me whether it is the exact transformer indicated in that ECG press statement, but what I saw earlier didn't have any flood around, no men working around the area. But where I am situated as we speak, the Avenue Central Mosque area, there is currently power outage here. If you move beyond the rail line towards the industrial area, they have light, but here there is no light. There are, shops here. I have a shop attendant here to know exactly what the situation has been for the past few days. Boss, thank you for joining us. When did the light go off today?
It was just early morning.
Around what time?
Around 8.
How frequent do they take the light here?
Oh, let's say it can go off early in the morning and they will on it around 6 a.m. in the evening.
Yes. When the rains came yesterday at dawn, did the light go off or it was on?
It was on. Yes.
So, that's his situation. There is no light here. We are still checking on the other substations to see whether it is the same situation as the ECG report, and we'll bring all of that.
That's my colleague James Aveji, and the substations that ECG mentions are the Station H in Jolu, Bema Camp L, Station D in Aveno, where my colleague is, and High Street AH, and then La Trade AJ and Lake Estate, and then Bawe. And that's the statement that the ECG issued earlier. Meanwhile, tensions between the Ashanti Regional ECG Staff Union and the regional minister is getting worse. During the Midday celebration, staff members staged a walkout as the minister prepared to deliver his speech. The workers remain adamant, vowing to boycott future events until Simon Osei-Mensah apologizes for the arrest of the regional director and drops all charges against him. National Vice President Bismarck Kaduma remains firm on their stance.
As long as the minister is not ready to withdraw the case from the police station and apologize to us and stop insulting us, we will continue doing that. We will not attend to any gathering he will be part of. After our press release and he meets the press, even that day when he insisted that what he did is right, he even gone ahead to even insulted us. He even told us that we are less knowledgeable person. So such a person insulting the whole ECG staff, how can we go to him? We are not ready to meet him.
What will it take for you to make amends with the minister?
If we withdraw the case and apologize, we don't have any issue.
But do you get any inkling that this man will apologize to you?
That's why I said when he even met the press, he even insulted us that day. So that even if you not even withdraw the case, if you not apologize, why do you go ahead and insult us?
That's the National Vice President of the Ashanti Regional ECG, Bismarck Kaduma. They're speaking to my colleague Mami Sinyamiche Thompson. Off to the Western region now. And Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is scheduled to commission a 120 housing unit at Apiate. However, concerns are being raised by some residents which revolve around the lack of potable drinking water at the newly built community and the non-payment of compensation. Well, the issue of compensation we know has persisted for more than 2 years following an explosion that flattened the community and caused the loss of 13 lives. Maxwell Ogbagba has more in this report.
The big explosion that rocked the small community near Bogoso more than 2 years ago. Apiatse was flattened, bodies strewn all over. The car carrying the explosives was torn into tiny pieces after the explosion. Joseph Apia was at work when he was informed about the death of his son, 21-year-old Justice Kwesi Takwa. He lost his house and a pub. The explosion led to the death of 13 persons, and those who survived it had to live with the effects of it. Some of the residents say more than 2 years after the incident, they are yet to receive compensation.
We have a whole lot of problems at the moment. Number one, the place that they are about to commission today, there is no water source. How are they going to reside there, whereby there is no water? Number two, during the explosion, a lot of people died, and yet the families have not been compensated. Number three, a lot of people were pierced as a result of the metal that spritted off. A lot of people are going through a head, no compensation. Medical attention is not there. Number four, those who died, who is to take care of their dependent? You could see that the government is not doing well with the community. It's not doing well with the community. So most of us have planned not to go there today for these reasons. So all that we are saying is that there are a lot that the government needs to do at Apiati. I don't want to talk much. I think the media houses who will be at present, who will be present will hear a lot, not limited to this. They will hear a lot. So we have so many problems. I don't want to talk much.
After 2 years, a total of 124 housing units and additional facilities have been completed for the affected residents. These newly constructed houses range from 1-bedroom to 7-bedroom units and are equipped with enhanced amenities.
Let's go live to the ground. Western Regional Correspondent Natalia Kwanzaa is on standby. Let's talk about how things are shaping up ahead of the commissioning.
Yes, Emefa. So when you come to the community, you see that eagerness, even though people still have one or two reservations, and they are ready for the commissioning. The vice president is yet to arrive, and the son he's in Sakradi meeting other organizations. And so today, just like we've rightly played over the 124 housing units will be commissioned, and then there will be a spot curtain for 70 housing, which marks the beginning of phase 2 of the Apiati reconstruction.
That's my colleague Natalia Kwanzaa there, still in the Western Region. Flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has promised what he describes as a golden age of relationship between the government and faith-based institutions if he becomes president of the country, touting the numerous developmental projects undertaken by various religious institutions in the country. He described them as development partners, and he says his government will consider leveraging on this pact to inure to the benefit of the country. He spoke in an engagement with the clergy in the Western Region as part of his campaign.
So I believe in unity, tolerance, and harmony, things that can help move this country forward. I don't believe in things that divide us. I believe in things that unite us. And this is why one of the things I want to do as president, I believe, is to introduce a golden age, that of a relationship between church and faith-based organizations and government. Why do I say so? I believe that that is the reality. If you look at the church, for example, the church has done so much for them.
And that's Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They're taking on us a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM and on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Duraplus Ghana Limited, where Duraplus goes, water always flows. Will return from the break with sport. And Dean of the University of Ghana Law School concerned about monetization of elections in Ghana following recent allegations in the Ejusuma election.
So vote buying is real. It happens. Any Ghanaian who says that he or she doesn't know that it happens is lying. Crass vote buying is a small aspect of a broader architecture of moneyed elections that we need to dismantle.
Meanwhile, the Kwanasu MP at the center of the electoral bribery scandal has apologized, but says his action has been misconstrued.
And you think that I will influence them in that public space. I have not bribed anybody. I have not influenced anybody to vote or to do anything untoward.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions
and send tweets,
where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Globe Productions, in partnership with the Embassy of Italy, presents The Lysers, an exciting adaptation of Luigi Pirandello's timeless classic by Latif Abubakar.
No magic or charm can obscure my sight.
My lord, if I dredge under of my calabash, it will flow between the twin towers of the 7 streams, enter into your heart. My lord, will obscure your sight.
How dare you?
Your beauty, my lord.
Witness the collision of reality and illusion at the Conference Center on 4th and 5th of May, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. and on the 6th of May at 7 p.m. Dial *447*1092# to buy your tickets or visit Bachona Total, Airport Shell and call 0571-900-900 for details. The Lysers is sponsored by MNC Group in partnership with Graphic News Plus app and Joy Entertainment, powered by Globe Productions.
Dive into a new era of news consumption with myjoyonline.com, your go-to destination for cutting-edge journalism, giving you the most credible stories from business to politics and from sports to entertainment. Myjoyonline.com introduces an upgraded news website meticulously designed to empower you with an enriched browsing experience like never before. Experience the future of news browsing with myjoyonline.com.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time for sports. Hello, Muftau.
Hello, Emefa. I just like that voice. Hello.
It's good to see you. What's in sports?
Dreams FC, they are hoping to return to the CAF Confederation Cup next season following their historic semi-final feat on their first attempt. They will be coming up against Soccer Intellectuals later today, and winger Sylvester Simba is confident Dreams can win the title.
It was a difficult task playing against one of the best teams in Africa, Zamalek. We thought we could get to the finals, but even though everything didn't go well for us, but we still have another chance to go next year, go back and focus on the MTN FA Cup. Next opponent, we'll make sure we qualify to the next stage and make sure we win the FA Cup so that now we have experience. So once we win the FA Cup, going for the Confederations again, it will be easy for us.
That is Simba speaking there ahead of their FA Cup's quarter-final game later today.
Thank you very much. Let's do some politics now. And Dean of the University of Ghana School of Law, Professor Raymond Atuguba, is this afternoon expressing concerns about the increasing monetization of elections in Ghana. This comes after allegations of vote buying and voter inducement characterized Tuesday's by-election at Ejiso, in where a member of Parliament for Kwada, so Professor Kingsley Nyako, was seen giving an envelope to electoral officers at the polling station. We can hear from Professor Atuguba in that interview with Benjamin Akakpo on the AM show.
The election stakes are so high in the manner in which I have explained in this interview that it compels politicians to literally buy votes at polling stations in order to ensure that they win the victory, are able to pay the election bill and build a war chest for the next election. So vote buying is real. It happens. Any Ghanaian who says that he or she doesn't know that it happens is lying. You just have to go to polling stations on election day or look at the way in which parties organize to win elections, and you know that it's rife. The point I'm making is that crass vote buying is a small aspect of a broader architecture of moneyed elections that we need to dismantle.
That's Professor Raymond Atuguba there. Well, a member of Parliament in the centre of all this has issued a statement, and my colleague Kwekwa Santi joins me in studio with what more he's been saying.
Well, he reiterates that he gave them the money because
they had told him that they had not been given lunch. But he says, as unfortunate as this is, I would like to apologize to the commission and the citizenry and assure all and sundry that such an act will never happen again.
Meanwhile, the party says it's on a reconciliation drive. A committee has been set up to resolve all outstanding issues. And Max and Jackie, MNJ, what are people talking about?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
We see you. The entire bulletin, you are the ones I've missed. What's up?
So, Akufo-Addo legacy is actually trending. I don't know why. Well, maybe I want to find out from what do you think is President Akufo-Addo's legacy?
Please tell us what people are doing.
Well, Abdul Hamid says for the first time in our history, our grandparents had to come out to protest for the funds they worked for. Some died in the course of the struggle with this government. That is Akufo-Addo's legacy. This one here from Akofrim Poma. She says, impacting positively into the lives of Ghanaian children through education to build engaged citizens. Indeed, she's talking about the free SHS. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, Emefa, our audiences seem to love Throwback Thursdays.
Yeah.
So we put out a question on social media asking them, which of these Ghanaian TV shows did you watch whilst growing up? So Cheche Kule Cantata, By the Fireside Concert Party, and many more. So
Which one did you watch? You.
So,
you are mentioning.
I'll mention mine later. I did.
Okay.
I watched Acapulco Bay.
Well, this one says that all of them, and it was one that it was all whilst you were having these whilst growing up, but no TikTok. We didn't have Facebook, and we're happy living in peace. So people have been sharing some nostalgic memories from these TV shows.
Shall I feel old? I watched all of them, and that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil. Sacrifice of Praise, episode 4 is up next. Have a good afternoon.